लो बहुत छाप रहे हो नोट यहाँ से, पैसे थोड़े से कपड़े ले लो, ठीक है।
आलतू फालतू के कपड़े की जगह शर्ट पहन लो
थोड़ा सा, देखो ये
प्रोफेशनल वाला।
आपको पता है पूरे ऑल ओवर इंडिया, ठीक है, सब बच्चे देख रहे होते हैं, सब जगह टेलीकास्ट होते हैं, अच्छा था मैसेज नहीं आता ना सर, वो बात अलग है, ठीक है। अभी हम सीरियस नोट पे बात कर रहे हैं,
ठीक है, फाइन,
इट विल नॉट कन्वे
इट्स
पॉजिटिव मैसेज,
नोटेड।
उसमें साफ दिख रहा है अंदर का,
अच्छा,
क्योंकि एक
पता आई थॉट कि ऊपर हो रही होगी, बट यहाँ का पता नहीं था, तो आई जस्ट
नहीं यहाँ की हो
सर,
या
अच्छा
कहीं की हो।
कहीं की भी हो, कपड़े तो कपड़े है ना, ये थोड़ी ना कि आप बिल्कुल नंगे घूमोगे।
अभी इसमें ये चीज क्या दिख रही है ना, अंदर तक की दिख रही है।
हाँ, सो नाउ हाउ यू लाइक एडजस्ट?
एडजस्ट नहीं हो सकता ना, अब मैं क्रोमा भी कट करना चाहूँ ना, कितना भी करना चाहूँ, तुम्हारे ब्लैक हेड जो साइड में झिलमिल है ना, वो नहीं जाएगा।
झिलमिल क्या होता है?
थोड़ा सा वो आएगा,
अच्छा,
स्पार्कलिंग सी हो रही है,
स्पार्किंग से। देख लो एक बार,
आप अपनी शर्ट दे दो,
मेरी शर्ट कहाँ है यार,
आ जाएगी।
अरे नहीं
इट्स जस्ट फॉर अ टेम्पररी पर्पस, 1 घंटे की बात है।
फिर मैडम भगा देंगी मुझे यार,
तू दे रही अपनी शर्ट। आई थिंक शेखर से पूछ ले, शेखर तो पहन नहीं सकता है,
सुनो,
उसको बहुत पसंद है।
एक लेकर आया करो अलग से, ला के रख दो यहाँ पर कुछ ना, कुछ कलर्स की
शर्ट्स, हाँ,
ना, 2 शर्ट्स ला के मीरा में रख दो मेरी।
मुझे लगता है शेखर की आ जाएगी,
नहीं आएगी।
एक बार ट्राई तो कर लो।
अरे वो एम साइज तुम्हारा एक्सेल साइज कहाँ जाएगा?
चलो,
हाइट और वेट का
पहला सेशन यहाँ का,
ये देखो आप यहाँ पर ध्यान देखो तो
नहीं दिख रहा है मुझे,
दिख रहा है ना,
ये स्लैश थोड़ा सा ज्यादा आ रहा है बस।
वो ये तो लगाया ही नहीं।
ठीक है,
बोलना कुछ,
बोलना एक बार साउंड
बोलो। अ वेरी गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल।
अभी उनसे एक बार साउंड चेक करा लो।
ये स्लैश पड़ रहा है पूरा, दिस लाइट,
नितिन देखिए थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट कर दे,
इसको ऊपर कर दो, बहुत स्लैश हो रहा है, ये तो मुझे दिख ही नहीं रहा कलर।
इसको को ना
तो वहाँ देखना भी नहीं आपको, यहाँ देखना।
हाँ,
ऑल द बेस्ट।
स्टार्ट।
देख लिया, लाइट थोड़ी सी ऊपर कर दो, ऊपर चढ़ गया है।
कौन सी?
ये स्प्लैश आ रहा है इस पे,
वो वैसे कहाँ चला जाएगा,
चढ़ के नहीं आया,
नीचे ही आ जाएगी। हेलो सर, एक बार साउंड देख लेते, सही है?
ठीक है तरुण सर, आपका बोलो ना।
स्टार्ट करना है?
नहीं स्टार्ट नहीं करना अभी।
Okay, we'll start. A very good morning to all. In today's session, we are all going to learn about the corporate social responsibility reporting and its audit process. Let's begin with the definition of the corporate social responsibility reporting. In other words, it is known as the extra financial report or environmental, you can say social and governance report. It termed as a document which is published by a company, which is usually annually or quarterly, which provides an evidence, legal evidence about the company corporate social responsibility efforts and its results. Although it is not a common practice in the United States of America, but this report is also captures at least one of the 4 main categories, that is environmental, ethical, philanthropic and economic impact. Such reports it also include that what the company has did, you can say a major steps regarding the environmental impact, regarding the economic impact, the governance impact on the economy. But it also includes the major categories which ultimately impact on the operations of the business activities as well. And that's why it reports, this report is also necessary to show to the various stakeholders, which provides a legal evidence that what the company has did towards the corporate social responsibilities efforts and its associated results. So let's begin the four main aspects of the corporate social responsibility reporting. The first one is environmental impact. It is also the one of the major component that how the company you can say show up the basic aspects on the environmental causes, that whether the company has really using the various waste or conserve resources for the benefits of the citizens or the societies or not. Let's come up to the second aspect, that is the social responsibility. One of the major you can say aspect of the corporate social responsibility is a social responsibility, where the company is always operates what would be the impact about its providing the services and the goods towards the welfare of the residents or the society. Basically, it automatically impacts the economic development and economic growth, which always towards the achievements of the common goals of the company. Whether the common responsibility of the company is actually working towards the goals of the companies or not. Let's come to the third aspect, that is the corporate governance. When we talk about the corporate governance, it refers to the various insights about the company. You can see leadership about the company, executive audits about the company. You can see the internal controls about the company, packages or the salaries or the compensation, that whether the company is actually working towards these parameters or not, and whether they are following up any legal compliance or any cultural you can see evidence that we use to show up in our reports. We talk about the next aspect, that is the economic performance. When we talk about the economic performance, it always refers to the information about the company financial you can see statements about the financial resources that or the financial results, whether the activities are actually focusing on the economic environment or not, whether they are actually maintaining the reserves, they maintaining the confidentiality, whether the economic value that the company has always put on always put you can say a major resources to achieve that impact in the minds of the residents, whether they are following up any you can say the governance part or the following up the rules and regulation which has been implemented by the government or not. Let's come up to the next section, that is why the corporate governance you can say reporting is important, or in other words I could say why there is a need of the corporate social responsibility reporting in India. So there are four you can say 4 or 5 reasons. The first one is the economic you can say imbalance. It also engages the employees, it also manages the reach, it also enhances the brand reputation, it also maintains the transparency and the accountability, and it also refers to the financial inclusion, whether the financial resources are actually you can say involved in the company's activities or not. So let's have an overview about these. You can see the importance or refers to an importance of the corporate social responsibility reporting. The first point is it maintains the transparency and accountability. As one of the major important part or the significant part of the corporate social responsibility, it's to disclose about the company's social and environmental impacts, whether the company is actually taking the initiatives regarding the environmental or to conserve the environmental resources, disclose whatever the information or whatever the evidence that they involved regarding the environmental impact to its stakeholders or not. So it is also a means to establish or to build up the trust among the all stakeholders within the company premises. The next point is it enhances the brand reputation. Companies always build up its trust, its brand value while following up the corporate social responsibilities efforts, and of course it also stand out a strong you can say a value among the others or as compared to others regarding maintaining a good space in the minds of the customers. When companies are also following up a corporate social responsibilities programs, and of course they always maintain a transparency regarding reporting of various aspects like the price, the society conscious about the you can see the customers, about the employees, about the stakeholders, about the employers. So they always build up a trust among all the categories of the stakeholders within the organization. The next point is the manager's risk. The corporate social responsibility reporting, it also enables the companies to maintain the you can say maintain the identity, especially when we talk about the productivity identity. They also initiate the social and the environmental risk. So when we talk about the management of the risk, companies major focus while adopting any corporate social responsibility you can say approach is to manage the environmental and the social risk. Let's take an example. A company may opt any you can say greater supplier chain management process to roll up a new flexibility, but automatically when we manage the risk, it is also important to focus about the equity, about the dividend policies or the financial inclusion policies is also being maintained to welcome a very diverse workforce within the organization. Next one is engage employees. It is also the one of the major you can say aspect or the importance of the corporate social responsibility. It always you can say build up an employee morally and the engagement or increase the into an engagement activities for achieving the company's you can say goals about the local and the global communities expect, which is more than to earn the profit. So basically the one of the corporate social responsibilities expect, it's not only to make a profit but also to achieve the goals which totally benefits for the employee morally and the engagement levels towards the goals of the company, which is not basically restrict to the profit. The next is encourages innovation. So when we to reach up the corporate social responsibility goals, the companies sometimes invest in the research and development activities of the sustainable products and services or associated processes that also leads to the cost savings, and when we come up to the new revenue attempts within the organization. So it always try to invest more and more into a research and development activities so that they can build up a eco-friendly products and services, and always work to adopt a new processes which definitely leads to a new revenue options or alternatives open to the organization. Now we come up to the next section, that who reads the corporate social responsibility report. So there are three main aspects aspects that basically involve to gone through such reports. The first one is investor, second one is customers, and the third one is the current and potential employees. So let's begin with the investors. So investors are also interested to consider the corporate social responsibility reports, as they also want to assess their company long-term sustainability and of course to follow up the ethical practices. When we talk about this in reference to investors, they try to evaluate the economic or environmental, social, and the government's you can say risk, and also try to find out the strategies where the company has to place it to integrate all into one place. The next one is you can say the customers. So customers are also read the corporate social responsibility reports, because after all it always talk about the informed purchasing decision processes along with when it's ethical values. So automatically when any organization is conducting an online research program that how the business reacts about the social issues which exist in India before making up and buying decisions, so definitely customers always gone through such reports about the social issues before making up any decisions related to its purchases towards a product of any organization. Next is current and the potential employees. When we talk about the employees who read such reports, it's always focus about the employees' values, the ethics, what would be their contribution to the societies itself while following up the ethical practices and the values. When we talk about the present aspects, employees also play a very important role when companies are actually taking up any decision making processes and include a new employees within the organization, so that they can come up with the new ideas and new goals to achieve, which is more than to earn a profit within the organization. So ultimately such reports are also act as an evidence to plan or to highlight a company's sustainability and the social plans and its achievements. Now we can come up to the process of the corporate social responsibility reporting, which is one of the most important aspect of this unit, that is the identification of the corporate social reporting activities. The companies under this particular process, the company starts to identify the corporate social responsibilities, activities and its initiatives, so that they can work upon the policies. They can work upon one of the top priority areas in it. It also aims to conduct or to maintain the assessment process, which not only helps to focus upon the most relevant corporate social topics, but also to find out the impact that is actually needed to show or to highlight in its reports. The second process is data collection and verification. When we talk about the data collection and verifications, company is also need to gather the data related to the corporate social responsibilities activities. It includes the financial allocations, project details, environmental impact indicators along its measurement you can say areas. So data verification, it is also needed to make them ensure the accuracy and the reliability of the information that they present in its report. It also build up a trust and create you can say a company value among its stakeholders. Next is it's setting the performance indicators. So there are various key performance indicators which refers as KPI. So it also been you can say evaluated or estimated to measure the effectiveness and the purchases of the corporate social responsibilities practices and its associated initiatives. So such performance indicators is also work towards to evaluate the carbon atmosphere, you can see the reduction in the community development, the employees well-being, if any ill well-being is going or exist within the organization, and many more activities which actually having a social issues among the people who are involved in such malpractices in within and outside the organization. So whenever these performances expects that the company is going to measure, there are the performance indicators where the company can easily evaluate its performances towards the various parameters like employee selection, community development, employee well-being, and the more important is sustainable practices. The next one is integration of financial and non-financial data. Such reports include to integrate the financial and the non-financial data so that they can also have a clear view about the company overall performances. And of course, the corporate social responsibility information is also helps to the company or to the stakeholders to evaluate its financial performances, which is associated with the financial reporting, which ensures the futuristic representation of the value creation. Next is you can say creating the corporate social responsibility report. Such report is also show up you can say compiled presentation which represents a detailed information about the you can say social responsibilities matters. It also includes the you can say the implementation of a corporate social responsibilities values, mission, and of course the philosophy which always helps to achieve the corporate social responsibilities initiatives and to focus upon its achievements, challenges, and of course the plans for the future. The next one is external assurance. So external assurance has also been important in the corporate social responsibility, that whatever the information involved, especially when we talk about the third parties agencies or the third parties agencies reviews about its accuracy and the credibility of the report. So it is also important for the companies to get an external you can say reports, external audited reports by the third parties, and their reviews are also equally important to show or to highlight the accuracy and the credibility of the report. When we talk about the last part, that is the dissemination, you can say a stakeholder engagement. So when we talk about the stakeholder engagement, it is also the most valuable asset for the stakeholders, where we talk about the corporate social responsibilities reports through you can say showing up the proper channels, like we can talk about the various channels such as the company you can say the public you can say response or the company website. So there are various resources where the financial reports, the employees or the employers or all the stakeholders can easily show, and that information there where they will get into it, that is the website and the public you can say preferences. And the companies is also engaged with all stakeholders, so that, and even they always ask for the feedback of the reports that they show on the websites, and accordingly they can respond to their queries. So if anyone having queries related to the you can say the reports, they can always put on the websites, and accordingly the queries could be resolved by the company. And the last one is the continuous improvement. Companies always uses the feedback and the insight you can say measurement tool, which always gather to during the reporting process to identify the areas for further improvement regarding the corporate social responsibilities initiatives or the practices. And such reporting process is also helps to gain an insight about the companies where they are lacking into the areas, and accordingly the report has to be maintained, and which ensures its quality and impact on environment, the governance and the social issues. Now we can come up to the next important parameter, that is the different reporting tools and techniques. The first one is the framework of reporting. When we talk about the corporate social responsibilities framework, it always involves the important parameters like the GRI, that is called the Gross Reporting Initiative. It's Sigma projects framework, where we always talk about the you can say suppliers, investors, governance, management and the accountants, which always focus upon the various parameters related to the supply chain, related to the financial risk, financial management or the management of the funds. We also talk about the global, you can say the global content decision services, the world of you can say the business councils for the sustainability developments, where the companies totally focus upon the eco-friendly and the sustainability products and services. Next is standards of reporting sustainability. It all where the standards is always plays a very significant role when we talk about to facilitate the process of the disclosure, the transparency, which termed as a guide for you can say adopting any university you can say universal accepted principles and practices within the core area of the organization. And it also involves the various principles, the policies that not only adopted by the different companies, but also refers to a new policies which always work uniquely for the beneficial of the organization. It always there are various several sectors who always work on, like we can talk about the automobile, we can talk about the agro business, we can talk about the electronics, etc. And such companies is always used to adopt the you can see the sustainable standards, and every company or every you can see industry adopts some standards, and the standards is already been shown over here, that is the SAS 000, that is ISO. We can talk about ISO 9000 or ISO 22004. They where the companies is always apply or adopt sustainable standards. There are also a strong you can say facilities which always been refer to the voluntary sustainable standards and the private sustainable standards. So there are various companies who are also work to adopt various categories of the sustainable standard, and a few standards which already been called over here, that is the voluntary sustainable standard and the private sustainable standards. The next one is ratings and the indices of the corporate you can say sustainability reports. So there are several you can say indicators or the indices which was developed by the various organizations, and some are which is called you can say SAM, you can say the asset sustainability rating, we can or the Asian sustainability reporting. We can also talk about the you can say the Dow Indices Sustainability Index, MSCI, ESE indices. So there are various indices, and accordingly the company is apply, which is always show a disclosure scores about the trust, about the you can see the consultancies groups. So such basically indices adopted by the well-reputed organization which respect to a disclosure scores, where we can talk about the index scores related to the consultancies, reputed companies or the groups. Next is corporate social responsibility reporting practices by leading companies. So these are the examples who have adopted such corporate social responsibility reportings. So the first one is Microsoft Corporation. It also applies an integrated reporting. Such company is always combines the financial and the non-financial data, which always show up in their annual reports, and showing that how the corporate social responsibilities initiatives its work on positively towards the you can say achievements of its goals, and also evaluated the overall company performance. Next one is impact measurement, and the company focuses on measuring the social and the environmental impact of its corporate social responsibilities projects, which ultimately provides a good or positive results in its reports. Next one is Unilever, that is also a sustainability living plan. So they have adopted such a plan which not only provides a sustainability products and services to the residents, but it also focuses on the environmental protection plans and the practices which always been adopted while providing or creating the sustainability products and services. And of course it always adopt a transparent target. So the company is clearly showing its reports on what are the groups that they target for the products or services, and accordingly they work to achieve them. For example, accountability and transparency. So as they follow up the policy which refers to an accountability and transparencies within the organization. Next, the next company or the leading company is IKEA. So it always work upon the people and the planet positive strategy. So it is also the one of the corporate social responsibility of the company that they work towards the people, towards the planet. You can say positive strategies. There they can achieve a positive climate impact or the social impact or the sustainability impact. So automatically the economic initiative is also being maintained by this company, and the companies also highlight you can say a secure environment, a secure industry, which highlights to reduce the waste and the you can say waste resources, and promote the sustainability products and you can say services to its residents. The next one is the corporate social responsibility reporting under the Companies Act 2013. Under the Companies Act 2013, the corporate social responsibilities, you can say that how it's operating, and it's mandatory to you can say for a certain companies, because these companies is always conduct an annual meeting focus on the specific areas regarding the sustainability, regarding the its policies, its practices, and accordingly the its activities and the spending in their reports can also be highlighted by the organization, and it is an effective you can say measurement tool that how the stakeholders could evaluate such you can say activities and its spending which is shown in its own reports. And the Companies Act is always mainly deals with it. The act, especially when we talk about the section 135, it also entitled the applicability, the expenditure, the replacement, about the accuracy, about which always follow up its obligations related to the corporate social responsibility. And such criteria it also been combined together regarding the policies, practices, initiatives, you can see the issues that automatically it will be combined together and shown and highlighted by the companies in its reports, and that actually a obligation under the Companies Act 2013. So what would it is also important to ensure the social commitments towards the society, and it also gathered meaningful information about the net worth of the company by the you can see the 800 crores and more. So the companies who are earning more than 800 crores or 800 crore, they have to show up each and every matrices in its own report. And of course the companies whose turnover is 1000 crores or more, so there are certain companies who are actually earnings more than, or you can say more than the 1000 crores, and of course its net profit of the company would be the 5 crores or more. So automatically these are the rules and obligations that the company has to follow up, and accordingly they have to show in its reports. And along with that, the corporate social responsibilities practices, which automatically reveals the overall performances of the company. Now we can come up to the next part, that is the key aspect of the corporate social responsibility reporting under the Companies Act 2013. The first one is applicability, as it applies to a certain companies and there is a specific conditions. The companies who are having a net worth of 500 crores or 800 crores, or turnover would be the 1000 crores, or the net profit of 5 crores and more. So these companies has to follow the rules and regulations and each and every aspect related to the corporate social responsibilities, policies and practices that they apply to apply within the organization, that they have to show up in its own annual reports. Next one is the Corporate Social Responsibility Committee. As you can see, the companies is always conduct an annual meeting, or you can see quarterly meetings towards the focus on the top priority areas, and such committee and its board of members is always focused on the more and more you can see the areas where the 3 and more directors involved in its meeting. Next one is the Corporate Social Responsibility Policy. The committee which has been organized by the certain organizations or the companies. Such committee is also being responsible for formulating and recommending appropriate corporate social responsibility policy to the board of directors. And the last one is expenditure, and the companies who spend at least 2% of their average net profits of the preceding 3 financial years on corporate social responsibilities activities. So it is also one of the major rule that they have to show up their expenditure level for over the preceding 3 financial years on the corporate social responsibilities activities. The next one is reporting. As the board, when we talk about in the board meeting, which is also an important part for the company to show up that what would be the board of directors, which will be shown in the annual report, and accordingly it will separate all those sections, all those activities which exclude or hamper the corporate social responsibility. The next one is the MCA portal. So under this, the Ministry of the Corporate Affairs, you can see, you can conduct the meetings through the disclosure made by the companies on such portals, on the company portals. Next one is CSR 2. So the companies and its separate form has to be filled up, that is corporate social responsibility 2, with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and the form that has been filled it declaring their corporate social responsibilities initiative, its expenditure level, or any other related information. So these are the important information that they have to show up to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs to fill up the company form, and all the information that's to be filled up in that form, and accordingly the impact assessment has to be worked on. So the companies with the very clear corporate social responsibilities, you can see adoption or the implementation or the obligation of at least show up the 10 crores or more, which conducting that they have conducted impact assessment of its corporate social responsibilities projects through an independent agencies. So it is also very important to understand that the companies who are working on a corporate social responsibilities project, at least they have to show up that they have obligation that to invest at least 10 crores or more on such project, and of course the impact assessment has to be shown in its annual report, but it could be done through the independent agencies only. Next one is the unspent amount. When we talk about the unspent amount, in this particular respect, that amount must be transferred to the special account that called a unspent corporate social responsibility account. So if any certain companies who having a unspent amount related to the corporate social responsibilities activities, then they have an obligation to transfer such amount to the you can say a special account, CSR account, or any designated you can say fund within a specified you can say time frame or a period. So these are the important aspects when we talk about the one of the most important aspect of the Companies Act 2013, which called a corporate social responsibility reporting under the Companies Act 2013. So when we talk about the reporting aspect, so under the reporting section there are four main sections, four main aspects of this main part of or main aspect of reporting, that is MCA, you can say CSR2, impact assessment, and unspent amount. So if any unspent on that to be transferred to the you can see the special account, that is unspent CRS account. When we talk about the impact assessment, we always talk about the corporate social responsibilities project, whether the company has invested you can say the 10 crores or more, and accordingly the impact assessment has to be done by a independent agency. And same the CRS2, the companies has to fill up in form, that is CRS2, with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which totally indicates about the corporate social responsibilities effort which has been done by the company. And last is Ministry Corporate Affairs. And the next is penalties. So if any certain companies is not obeying any conditions, then definitely a strict rules has been imposed, and that's called the penalties for the companies and its officers in default. So ultimately this act is formulated, it's to ensure that the companies contribute to the social and environmental well-being by making such practices are mandatory and transparent to each and every part of its business operations. Now we can come up to the next part, that is the next section, that is corporate social responsibility reporting framework. When we talk about the corporate social responsibility framework, it refers a structured guidance or any act of standards or guidance for the organization use to measure, to disclose, to communicate their social, their environmental, their government impacts, or you can say useful information. So these framework is totally depend on the three indicators, that is the environmental, social, and the last one is the governance. So these are the three main indicators which not only aims to evaluate but to collect the information, collect the financial, non-financial data, to analyze, to present the data in its companies or annual reports about their corporate social responsibilities, activities and performances. The main purpose of such framework is to ensure the consistency, the comparability and the reliability in its corporate CSR reports, and it also make them ensure you can see the trust, the value to the stakeholders like investors and customers, employees, or you can talk regulators, any other tax agencies, in order to understand the performances of the company and to assess the company's social and environmental impact. Let's talk about the key elements of a corporate social reporting, corporate social responsibility reporting framework. The first one is the principles and the standards. As I already told in the definition, these are the set of standards or a set of guidance or principle that for all those organizational use, so that they can build up, they can show up the what would be the social, environmental and the economic impact. So this is how the company has to set up a clear principles and the standards that they adopt for all those useful information that they are going to present in its annual report. Next one is the you can say the materiality assessment. So when we talk about the material, then that refers to the information or useful information about the corporate social responsibilities, you can say activities related to the social, environmental and the government's indicators. So this is how to access the information, whether the information is true or not, whether it is useful to provide such information to its stakeholders or not, which is something more important, a more focused aspect of the about the information which is true and fair and which could be trustable by the stakeholders or not, and that to be shown into its reports. Next one is performance indicators, as the performance indicator is also be an important part of the such framework, that is the specific measurement matrices or indicators like the key performance indicators which always been used to you can see identify, to analyze or to track the performances of its various corporate social responsibilities area, whether the area is related to the international business, whether it's related to any adopting the international standards for the comparable basis or for the comparable aspects. Next is data collection and management. So it also sets a guidelines. As I told, the framework is always sets the guidelines, a peaceful information to collect, to manage, to verify the data. And such data, it's not only show within its report, but it also refers the accuracy and the reliability of the, you can see the information that they show in its report, and it always been reported within the organization to all its stakeholders. Next one is the reporting structure, and as such framework is also define a proper and accurate structure for the report, including the various aspects like we can talk about the structure or that how it organize the information in the concise and coherent manner, and could be easily understandable to each and every stakeholder. And then the next part is the stakeholder engagement. It is also important for the companies to adopt such principles, and accordingly the stakeholders could come forward to participate regarding the development and the review of the report, in order to make ensure that whatever the information that they have shown to us, that is actually addresses their concern, their interest in detail or not. Next one is the continuous environment. So whatever the mechanisms that has been used by the company according to their set of principles or the standards, then definitely it will leads to an improvement in the corporate social responsibilities performances, and it also includes the inputs, or you can say the targets, which aims to work upon to develop the actionable plans and work towards to monitor the progress of the organization. Next one is popular framework, also used globally, including the, you can say, the global reporting initiatives, the sustainability accounting standards you can say board, the standards, you can see the International Integrated Reporting Council framework, and the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which refers to 17 goals related to food grains, related to you can say infrastructure, related to the focus on the social issues, etc. When we talk about each of these framework has its own set of guidelines, and it always focus on its core areas, which aims to promote the transparency, the accountability, and the sustainable development in its business practices. So the companies who are choosing any framework which is based on the specific needs or requirements related to the industry standards or the stakeholder expectation, it is a must for all of them in its own perspective. Next section is the business responsibility reporting. When we talk about this term, it is also refers a framework, a set of guidelines, a set of principles for all those companies to disclose their reports or performances related to environment, social and governance to stakeholders, so that whatever the information that they or important information that they provide to its stakeholders, that promotes the accountability, transparency, and ultimately it helps all of the stakeholders to access and take up a appropriate decision in its decision making processes to conduct a sustainable and responsible business practices. So the business responsibility reporting, and it's you can see the extended version or extended you can see expects the business responsibility and the sustainability report are one of the more crucial areas for the companies to demonstrate and to conveniently use and responsible for its business operation and how it would conduct its operation while adopting you can see sustainable practices in a future frame. Business reporting, business reports, you can say business reporting reports and its subsequent business reporting and sustainable reports. It are the frameworks for the company used to report on their impact, especially three main areas, that is environmental, social and the governance. So the first one is environmental, how the company managed its environmental impact, including the you can say energy consumption, emission, water usage, etc. Social, how the company impacted employees, its you can see commitments and other stakeholders, including their human rights, their labor practices and the community development. Then the last aspect is governance, how the company is managed, including its board structure, ethical conduct and stakeholder engagement. Next is importance of business you can say reports, business reporting reports or business reporting and sustainable reports. The first one is enhanced transparency and accountability, as it is a set of principles the companies adopt for its corporate social responsibility activities. So automatically such reporting reports or tool which always focus on the disclosure or public disclosure of its information relating to three main indicators, and in this way the company could become more transparent and accountable for their actions. Next is improved stakeholder engagements. So by disclosing you can say such information, the company is always it could work to more and more engaged with the stakeholders, including everyone like investors, customers, employees, communities, which always address their interest and concern. Next is increased you can say investor confidence. When we talk about increased investor confidence, the investor is always work upon its own main factors which related to the three main indicators, and while making any investment decisions the companies always shows you can say in its report so that the investors confidence could get increased, and such reporting reports provides you can say a useful information to them, and accordingly the investors who are associated with the organization, they can take up an appropriate decisions regarding their investments projects in the long run. Next is competitive advantage. The companies who are engaged with the corporate social responsibilities activities, they are actually demonstrate a strong ESG performance through such reports or such framework, which always gains a competitive advantage by attracting its investors, customers, employees who value accountability, who value the sustainability practices. Next one is the contribution to sustainable development, and such reports is always encourages the companies to adopt more automobile practices, and of course to contribute to a broader social goals of the environmental protection and the social progress. Next is alignment with the global standards, as it is also aligned with the global set of standards like the global reporting initiatives, which helps the Indian companies to adopt a global best practices in its corporate social responsibility set of activities. Principles of BRR and BRSR, the ethics and governance. Of course, the business should conduct and you can say govern themselves with integrity and in such a manner which should be ethical, transparent and measurable. Product responsibility, the business should also provide the goods and services in such a manner that is sustainable and safe. Employee well-being, business should you can say respect and provide and think upon the well-being of the employees related to its values, related to its you can say wages, salaries, so that they are more and more satisfied with the organization efforts. Stakeholder engagement, business should you can say respect the interest and be responsive of their stakeholders. And the human rights, the business should respect and promote the human rights. So that's it for today. Thank you. We always talk about the human rights, and that's one of the human rights that there is a time when the session gets over, but still I need to explain more and more relevant topics. That is the sustainability. The businesses should respect and make efforts to protect and of course restore the environment, nearby surroundings. Next is public policy. The businesses when they engaged with different sort of activities, it aims to influence the public and the regulatory policy, and such organizations should do such activities in such a manner that could be responsive and transparent to all its stakeholders. Inclusive development. So businesses should promote the inclusive growth and equitable development. Next is consumer responsibility. Businesses should engage and provide you can say the core values, a mission to their customers in a responsible manner. Now we can talk about its framework. It is a journal, you can say disclosures. So every organization who are adopting such framework, they have a responsibility to share each and every information or to disclose the information about the description of the company, its what its purposes, what it provides, what are its users, what the people behind the organization, and what would be about their legal complements which are aligned with the law. Next one is management and the process disclosure. So automatically this particular framework also includes about the management and the process disclosures related to the environmental responsibility. And the next one is the principle wise performance disclosure. It is also important for the businesses and the organizations to adopt you can say set of code of conducts within the organization, and one of the conduct is a national guidelines on responsible business conduct, that is NGRBC. It is a code of conduct where the companies and organization adopt and maintain the economic development and customer values within the organization and outside the organization. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening this lecture. I will come up to a more and more relevant important topics. So till time, thank you and namaste to all.